How can Twitter be used to keep students informed? Can it be used as a role-playing device to manage characters? Can Twitter be used to improve grammar? These are many questions that some of us are asking, whether you are an educator or you're a student. Sharing with us from the student-teacher's perspective today, we have Ms. Lo Si-Hui and Ms. Carissa Abidin from the Trainee Teachers Club in NIE. Let's give them a big hand.
Okay, good afternoon. I am Si-Hui from the Year 1, currently studying Diploma in Education. And this is my partner for today. She's Carissa. Together we'll be presenting the many uses of Twitter that we can introduce in our classrooms today.
Yep. I'm Carissa. I'm in Year 1 Bachelor's and I'm doing Literature and English. So today basically we're going to show you how we would use Twitter in our future classrooms for English and Literature.
Okay, there will be an event back channel whereby you can ask us questions on Twitter by hashtagging MUO Twitter on Twitter. So we will answer to your questions at the end of this session. So at any point of this presentation, you can post your questions up on Twitter. So Carissa and I claim that Twitter is the fastest, simplest, and most connected way of interacting with students. So some of you might ask us, why do we say so? So how is it that Twitter is what we claim it to be like? So Twitter is the fastest because you can discover what's happening from your smartphone, tablet, or computer. Twitter is accessible everywhere, from your web browser to your pocket. You can even use Twitter over SMS. And this is a unique feature to Twitter. I'm sure many of you can't send a MMS to Instagram to post your picture, or you can't send a SMS to Facebook to post your status. But you can send a SMS to Twitter to post your tweet. So Twitter is also the simplest. I'm sure many of you are familiar with Twitter, but for the benefit of those who are not, I will introduce the 6 simplest functions that we have on Twitter, and they are to compose, to mention, to hashtag, to reply, to retweet, or to favorite a tweet. So, to compose a tweet, you just have to write anything that you want to tweet within 140 characters. It is also 140 characters because it's the size of a SMS. And your username is your unique identity on Twitter, whereby your friends, your followers, will mention you with your username. A hashtag is any word or phrase with the number symbol immediately in front of it. So this symbol will turn the word or phrase into a link, and then later on people can follow the conversation just by clicking the hashtag. The reply button is for you to start a conversation with somebody just by replying the tweet. And the retweet button is like forwarding an email or sharing an article just like on Facebook. So retweet, you just have to click on the retweet button and the tweet will be sent to all your followers. And the favorites button, you just have to click the star and you can mark the tweet as your favorite. So after convincing you that Twitter is the fastest and the simplest way, you might ask us, how can we then use Twitter for teaching and learning? So, Carissa and I have come up with 3 ways to use Twitter in our classrooms, and it is number 1, to keep students informed, number 2, as a role-playing device to manage characters, and number 3, as a way to improve students' grammar. So number 1, to keep students informed, remember the 6 functions that we have discussed earlier: composing, mentioning, hashtagging, replying, retweeting, and favoriting a tweet. So to compose, you can actually set homework reminders, you can share fun facts, share photographs, share videos, and also ask questions on Twitter. And the list goes on. With the mention and replying function, you can also reply to their questions via Twitter. So from personal experience, teachers don't like to give away their personal mobile numbers. And students don't really like to email teachers because sometimes with teachers' busy schedule, teachers don't like to reply emails as well. So Twitter is the fastest way to interact with students. So it's a win-win situation for both the teachers and the students. For the hashtag, you can create your own personalized hashtag for students to follow. For example, ABCSSHW as shown on the screen stands for ABC Secondary School Homework. So it's a unique hashtag. You can get your students to post all their homework and then as in the homework reminders, and they hashtag it so everybody can see what are the homework for that day. So a hashtag can be created by anybody but used by everyone. So for example, it can be created by the teacher but used by all your students. Just like EDSG. EDSG is actually created by a group of educators in Singapore, but as you can see, it's also used by MOE Singapore and Today Online to post about stuff on education in Singapore. And last but not least, with the retweet button, you can retweet fun facts from other accounts for your students to view, and they can find out the questions and answers from the tweet itself. Yeah, so right now I'll pass on the presentation to Carissa, whereby she will tell you all more about how we can use Twitter to manage characters and also to improve students' grammar. Thank you.
Okay, so we're going to show you how you can use Twitter to bring books to life. So has anybody done literature, or you just like to read books? Anybody? Thank you. Okay, so you always wonder, like, how can I bring these characters to life? If they were here with me, what would they be saying? How would they respond to our everyday activities? So with Twitter now, you can actually do that. It doesn't matter whether they are alive or not, because these role-playing devices will be carried out by your classmates or your students, or you break them up into groups and everyone can take one character. So everyone knows that Twitter is basically your own profile. You have your photo, you have your name, you have your information, and everything that you tweet reveals a lot about your character, and it reveals about your day, your setting, your environment, right? So when we use Twitter for literature, for instance, we use this example of Scout Finch Harris. Does anybody know which book this character is from? Yes, To Kill a Mockingbird. And this example is very good because majority of the students who take literature will do To Kill a Mockingbird in secondary schools. So this Scout Finch Harris is actually the main character of the book. And you see here, they have has her photo, her name, and all her information. So what you can do as a teacher, you break up your class into groups, and each one takes one character for the week, create a profile like this, and interact with one another. So this way you make your students learn more about the character before they can create a profile, and also through interactions, they learn more about these characters. For instance, here she tweets something about Calpurnius making crackling bread. Calpurnia, as we know, is one of the helpers in the story. And so through this, you can see the relation that Scout has with Calpurnia, and you can see what every day is like in Maycomb, which is where they live. And another character we can use is Aunt Alexandra. And here Aunt Alexandra says, young white ladies should not go to other black houses. So from this, we know that Aunt Alexandra is a racist, right? But you don't have to tell your students, okay, this character is a racist. From quoting things like that, they can tell for themselves, so they're also directing their own learning through this. So if you continue this with all the other books and all the other characters, students will not only direct their own learning, but they will learn more about the characters, and it really brings the story to life. Okay, with this, we're going to show you how Twitter can improve grammar. We know everyone is very hooked onto the internet today, and there's a lot of internet lingo, internet jargon. We're even learning it in linguistics. But sometimes grammar gets lost in the way. So we're going to show you how this can improve grammar, but first, just enjoy this video. Okay, we hope you enjoyed that video. So what Red Balloon is this class in Brazil. They have classes where they organize their students to reply to celebrities' tweets. Yeah, so why do we think that's effective? Well, one example is Rihanna, the pop sensation. Everyone knows her, and she says, she's my rock, so I hold on to she. What's wrong with this sentence? Her, right? So this is how that group of students answered. Hi Rihanna, I love your songs. My name is Carolina. I'm 11 years old. It's not to she, it's to her. Bye-bye. So what they do from here is not only interesting because they get to go and check out on their celebrities, people they're actually interested in. It's not like in a textbook where they're just reading for errors. It brings it to life again. And also when they reply this way, they're learning a lot on being socially etiquette on the internet, to be polite, to be courteous even though they're correcting somebody. And this is another example from Lady Gaga. That Phoenix crowd was completely and utterly insane. Just did 4 shows in 4 days in 3 states. I will be sleeping for the next 24 hours. And this girl replied, I'm Milena. 10 years old from Brazil. You're great, but your tweet has a mistake. Crowd doesn't have an E. So it's not only for grammar, but spelling as well. So this teaches them to not only be better in grammar, but to pick out mistakes in everyday settings. For instance, whether they are reading the newspaper and they find an error, or they are surfing something online and they find an error. They'll be more prone to picking these out because you'll be more sensitive to grammar and spelling errors. Yep. So from these examples that we have shown you, we hope that you have learned that Twitter can help keep students informed, manage characters, and improve grammar. So with that, we end our presentation. If there's any questions, remember to tweet us at MUO Twitter. Thank you very much.